Good morning, everybody. This is Daniel with Peace and Plenty Farms. It's a good fall, cool, breezy morning. Still very humid from all that rain we got. I mean, it was coming down. It was completely flooded across this road right here. This little gravel road was completely flooded across. And you can see where this is all backed up now, but it was flooded across right here also. We got plenty of rain last night. So I'll just tell you about some of the things that are going on this morning. I ordered these crawdaddy traps to put in our pond because that pond is full of crawdads. I bought some catfish and put them in there, little fingerlings, and I think they got eaten by the crawdads. And I'd like to try the catfish again next year. I'll probably order them and grow them in an aquarium a little bit bigger and then put them in the pond. But these traps will help thin out the crawdads in there. Look at how much rain we got in that wheelbarrow just in one night. Yeah, this little ditch was slam full. So I fed the pigs this morning, and this is bacon this is pork chop right here and bacon right there. And bacon over there, she was coughing this morning again, so, and he was coughing yesterday, so they're haven't really fully recovered. I don't know if they will or not. We'll just have to wait and see. The little chicks are out this morning. They're helping the pigs eat. I want to show you what I've got planned for today. I've got 3 obstacles that need to be accomplished today. I did get the workbench cleared off yesterday. That thing was a disaster, an absolute disaster. There were so many giblets, different size staples, different size nuts and bolts, just one huge knotted pile. Actually, it took me 2 half days, yesterday morning and the day before the afternoon, to clean that desk off. But I have 3 jobs to do today. The first job is to get this gate installed right here. This will be the access right here to the stall. This will be the stall area for the sheep that we've already paid for, and we just need to have them delivered. But I need to get all of this cleaned out of here. I need to get the gate up, and then I need to build a fence, some boards or something right here to close this off. And then I need to get ready to start running the electrical. Now, I'm out of the little black clips that go on the T-post. I'm waiting for those to come in. But I need to run the electrical around here. And one of the things that I've got here is this wire. Now, this is the wire to run the electrical. I don't know how many feet that is, but it's a bunch. And it's strapped together right here. It's got 4 straps on it, and it had a tag on it that said something about to put it in the spool before you cut these. In other words, when you cut these, this wire is going to just start to unravel. And so I got to thinking, I don't have a spool for it, so I'm going to have to make one myself. So what I want to do is I want to put just a cross 2x4 or 4x4 or 2x4, just make on the inside, put plywood on the other side and plywood on this side, but I'm going to cut the plywood so that it's round like a wheel. And what I'm thinking is I can take this junior planter thing apart. I have 3 or 4 of these. This one's in really bad shape. It's all rotted and starting to come apart. So I thought I would disassemble this one and put that wire on here. That way I can walk the property with it unrolling, and I'd have these handles, and I just thought it'd be a little bit easier to walk the property unrolling the wire if it was on a spool and maybe on this thing, just like that wheel. Just take that wheel off and put the plywood contraption that I'm going to build on there to unroll it. The other job is the battery. I need to I broke the positive cable on the battery in the Toyota, and then the battery fell over and ran into the belt on the corner right there and made a hole, so I had to get a new battery. So I need to get the Toyota fixed up, cleaned up, washed, check the oil. You know, I put that new engine and new electronic harness, the entire harness in that, and I just want to go through it, check the oil, check it over. I think it's got a gas leak in the top of the tank. I did put a new indicator in there, so it may be leaking around there somewhere. We got to check that out. Got to take the bed back off again and find out why that's leaking. That's a big job. But in order to clean out the stall, I've got to clean this area out, and all that stuff that's over there is going to come over here. But I'm only keeping the stuff that I need and that I use. Everything else is going to go to the top of the barn. I've got 4 or 5 of these generators. I've got this compressor. I've just got a lot of these transmissions. The things that I'm going to keep, I'm going to put in the top of the barn, and a lot of this stuff I'm going to get rid of. I think this chipper, I think I'm going to sell that. I don't really need that snow plow. I'm going to get rid of that. These buckets, they can be stored outside. They don't need to be stored in here. This was a chicken plucker that I started building, and I think I was going to throw it away, but I got to looking at it, and I thought, why don't I give it one more try to finish putting that together? So I may fiddle with that this winter, get that out. But everything else, these generators go in the top of the barn. This whole area is going to get cleaned out so that just usable stuff is in here. I really want to put my feeder tools, you know, the dishes and the cups and the bottles and all of that, feeder things up there instead of underneath of that shed over there. Everything's just kind of, it's so far up underneath that shed you can't reach it or get any of it. So I want to get this area cleaned out for that. Alrighty, let's get started and see how it's a lot for today. Today's actually Friday, and I have to work at the shop Saturday, but these are the 3 pressing priority things: the stall area, the wire roller, and the battery. Those are the 3 jobs that are pressing me for today. But if I don't get them done, we'll work on them Sunday. Those have to be done as soon as possible so we can secure the area for the sheep that are coming. Thank you for everybody watching, and I really enjoy doing these videos. It helps me to keep track of what I'm doing, like a chronological event. I get to look back and see what we've done, what we've accomplished. I learn from watching my videos over the mistakes I made, the things I need to do different, and I hope that these videos can help people that watch them, and it would help me if you would comment and let me know what I could do different or better or improve on. Any advice would be great. We would appreciate it. Thanks for the comments, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you later on today. How far we got? Okay, everybody, it's about lunchtime on Friday, and like I was saying earlier, I have 3 jobs that need to get done today. 1 is to hang that gate. 2 is to build a little way to roll that wire out on that little junior planter. I was thinking about building something, and put a new battery in the Toyota. And it's lunchtime, and you see how far I've gotten. But I did get things cleaned up and cleared out, and ready to get these 3 jobs going. So this is going to be the stall area for the sheep right here. They've got the running water right out there. I built a little canal thing mainly because the water was coming onto the property through that culvert right there, and it was coming down and it was just flooding this entire area right here. And I was trying to backfill this and get it built up for the barn, and I was having trouble directing the water, so I built that just to help direct the water down and around the barn area. And I may use it to catch the water later and do something as far as finishing the hydro generator that I was working on, but we'll see. Let's get back to what we're doing here. This is the stall area, and I may build a wall right here from this beam down to close it off so they can stay warm. And the idea is I can put a gate right here in the wall So I can mount some hinges right here and have a gate right here. And I'm thinking I may put a small gate from this over to here, just a small gate so I can pass through right here. But that's the way down the road. Let's skip that for right now. But one of the things I did was I moved a lot of that junk over here, the stuff I want to keep. This walk behind, it looks rough, but it works great, and I still use it. This tiller, I use it all the time. This tiller right here, I've totally rebuilt it, greased it up, took it apart and fixed it up, put tubes in the tires. The engine is the engine off of the auger that I use to drill the post holes. So I just take that Honda generator, it's just 4 bolts, I take it off, I can mount it on here real quick, put the belt on it and go. And it's a good walk behind tiller, someone gave that to me. This Ford tractor is going out of here one way or another. If I have time this winter or early spring to put the head back on it, fine. If not, it'll be sold for parts. That will give me access to take the tillers and the mowers out that way to till or mow anything in the garden or whatever I'm doing out that way. And I had talked earlier about building a wall, a fence right here, but now I'm going to put in a gate. I'm going to put in a gate right here that'll swing open, and I can bring the tillers or lawnmowers out into that area back there. So a gate instead of a wall right there, instead of a fence. And of course the 4-foot gate right here. So I've expanded my list from 1 gate to 2 gates right here. Now I started a pile here. This is the stuff that I'm going to keep. These 3 generators are good. I just bought this T-post driver, and it is heavy. You know, it's really heavy to lift this thing. I had to get a step ladder, climb up the step ladder to get up high enough to get this thing onto the T-post, and then throttle it to get it to drive the T-post down. And it would work less than half of the time. The carburetor would seem to bog out. They gave me instructions on how to adjust the carburetor, but I ended up driving all of the T-post by hand. That eliminated the step ladder and this super heavy machine. And I could drive about 3 or 4 before I got worn out. I have a little bit of a heart strain problem, valve problem that doesn't allow me to strain, and I start to lose my breath. So I could do about 3 or 4. There were over 200 of them, so it took quite a while doing 3 or 4 at a time, take a break, but I did get it done. So I've got this T-post driver with a little bit of carburetor adjustment. Maybe it'll work, but not for me. There's the box that came in. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. Take it to the shop and maybe try to sell it or something like that, because it's still got the box. I can put it back in the box, and they're giving me a hard time about returning it. They won't give me the return information. These 3 Cub Cadet hydro automatic transmissions, they're good transmissions. This one is really good because it's a dual port. Anytime you buy a Cub Cadet hydrostatic, be sure and get the dual port. That way you can add hydraulic implements to the Cub Cadet. The other 2 are basically for parts. I'm always in the market for Cub Cadets, and I've got that one back there that I'm working on building right now, but it's going to be a standard. This is everything that came out of the storage area that I'm getting rid of. These 2 little tiny tillers, these Mantis tillers, they both work. I just don't use them. I prefer to weed by hand. This compressor just needs a tank. This mower we just don't use anymore. Good compressor, some tires. That is a really good chipper, but I just don't need it on this farm. When I bought it, I thought I was going to chip and clear the land. This is a chicken plucker that I built from a concrete mixer. It's a concrete mixer turned upside down, and I put the turned the wheels around, and I reconfigured the pieces of metal, and I took an old drum and I put the rubber fingers in there and the motor and all that, but I never finished it. I think the gear ratio was wrong, and I was working on changing the gear ratio and quit on that. I don't know if I thought maybe I might fiddle with that this winter. I don't know. We'll see. I wanted to tell you about a secret I learned about catching these black snakes. This is that bird mesh that you put over fruit trees. And I have had that stuff up on the shelf, and I noticed it catches these black snakes, and it's a good way to cut back and limit the amount of black snakes that you have on the farm. Now, a lot of people I see in the comments, they say, oh, don't kill the black snakes, they're good for the farm. Bull crap. You don't know what you're talking about. I let one of those black snakes into the chicken coop, and I was going to do the symbiotic relationship that people comment all the time on these posts, you know, that the black snake kills the mice and it kills the copperheads and all that, which is true, it does. But what happened is it wiped out the mice population in a couple of days, maybe a week or so, I don't know, and got huge. He got huge. I saw him a couple of times, you know, and I didn't bother him, he didn't bother me, and I could tell that there were no mice, and so I said, that's okay. Well, he crossed the road right here, and he was big enough to climb all the way to the peak of that broody coop and fit through a little tiny hole that was in that broody coop, and he completely wiped out the chicks and the eggs that she was brooding in one evening. I came out the next morning and he had consumed everything, and he was huge, and so I had to eliminate him, get rid of him. So while it's true that they keep the mice down, I just set mouse traps. I have this tray of mouse traps, and they're cheap, you know, mouse traps. I just set those and cut down on the mice population that way. So what I was saying about this netting is this bird netting that keeps the birds out of the fruit trees from eating the fruit in the trees. I had it back here on these shelves, and several times I have caught black snakes with that mesh. So here it is. I've got a whole bucket of it right here. And what I do is I just string a piece of it along the top of the shelving through all of my items that I've got up there, and the snakes get caught in it. Same thing down at the bottom. I just string a piece of it along the back side there, and that will catch the black snakes and eliminate them. And then I just set mouse traps to catch the mice. So this area back here is going to start to be a working area for the farm, as far as I'm going to stack all of my waterers back here, all of my feeders, light bulbs, all of my electric fence pieces are right there. These are silver plated things that come into the shop, and I'm going to use them as dishes to feed the chickens and the rabbits and things like that. The teapots that come into the shop like this, I'm going to mount them on the wall and make bird houses out of them. Let the birds use them for bird houses. I'm going to find a place around here on the farm. I've got some on the greenhouse right now, but and they use them. It works out pretty good. So I'm going to mount all those for the birds, maybe on the back side of the barn. We'll do that back here, because not very many people really see this back side of the barn. This is the north side, so it gets a little bit of mildew on it. So I'll have to pressure wash it every now and then. But I moved all these buckets back here. I don't need to have those inside. This is all my old oil that I need to take out and get it recycled. These are all of my old Cub Cadet tin that is left over from stripping down Cub Cadets for parts. And this is my scrap yard area. I got scrap metal, scrap pipe, my scrap tires, barrels. I put this rack up here where I can store all my various things. I put all the T-posts that we didn't use, the extra ones, right there. And this is just supplies that I have. And I like this location because it's surrounded by trees here, and it keeps people from having to look at it when they're here. So that works out good for me. I like that. I've got this big water. I need to get that out there and turn it over so that the sheep and the goats and everything can have that. Of course, they've got plenty of water with the pond. Maybe I'll just get rid of that thing. This is my cardboard pile. Now I use the cardboard, I spread that out on the ground, and the worms come up, and they'll be right underneath of the plywood, underneath the cardboard, and I can pull the cardboard back and let the chickens get the bugs and things that are underneath the cardboard. And I use the cardboard to if you're going to garden an area, lay it out in the winter, and in the spring you can pull it up and there won't be any grass there. It'll kill everything, and you can start your garden in a new area like that with the old cardboard. So I save that. It's getting, I wish I could have saved it inside, but it'll still work. This is a gantry that I bought for, it's a roll around lift that needs to be assembled, and I got it really cheap, new. I saved about $200. It was on sale, and you couldn't find one of these now with the COVID and the metal shortage. So that's going to come in handy here shortly. I may put it together and put it in the carriage house. This is all of the fencing gear that we still need to finish the electric fence for the pigs. And I'm just waiting on the last of the clips to come in so that we can run the wire. And I need to put the little wire roller together, the wheel together, the plywood and the wheel. Well, I know it doesn't look like I got much done, but there was a lot of organizing, a lot of sorting out, and a lot of cleaning up. These things, like I said, they're all going to go up top. I'm going to keep these generators. I'm going to keep these transmissions. I'll just, let me show you this little, when I say up top, I'll show you how I get things up top. So I have these double doors that open up, and you can see I've got a little trolley right there, and I've got a set of wheels that fit in there, and a cinch block that goes up there, and I can just pull things up and swing them in to the top of the barn and set them down in there. So that's what I'm going to do with these generators. Someday somebody will want them. Power will be out and I'll be able to sell them for something. Right now you couldn't sell them for nothing. I couldn't get $100 a piece for them. But that's what's going on. I need to go get a 6-foot gate for right here and get some lunch, and then we're going to hang these gates, and that shouldn't take long. Two gates, one there, 6 foot, one right here, 4 foot, and we'll close this off with a couple of boards right here, and this area will be closed off and ready. And later on, we'll build a wall over here to give the sheep a place to come in and get out of the weather. Well, that was a lot right there, but this is stuff that I can just carry up the steps up to my attic area up there. But that is what's going on. I wanted mainly to tell you about the snake situation. I think that's a good way to catch snake. There's sticky tape that people use, and they put poison out, but the poison, you know, the cats get in it, the chickens get in it. We free range the chickens, so that doesn't work. I think that net is the best way to go for catching the snakes. That's my little secret for today. This is the second video today, and we'll do a third one to wrap things up later on. Thank you for watching. Okay, it's about 4:30 on Friday, and you can see that I've got one of the items. The gate is up, but the battery is still laying there, and the wire is still laying there. So 2 projects to start right off next week. Maybe Sunday I'll work on them. I don't know. We'll see what mood we're in. Good inside jobs. It'd be nice to get that Toyota running. So I did get this 4-foot gate up, and you can see I had to move the 2x6 and 2x4 over. So I just cut off these 2x4s here, cut the siding, and just moved the 2x6 and the 2x4 over. The reason is because when I put the 2 gates up here, they were taking up about 6 inches right there, which made the doorway opening right here really narrow. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and make it nice and big since we had the 4-foot gate. And I just offset the 2x4 and the 2x6 right here, and that gives the gate something to close against. And I feel like if the animals get up against it on the outside, they'll be pushing it, and it won't move. It'll stay there. So like I said, we're going to put a wall in going from that beam down, and this will be a nice little area. Maybe the stanchion will be right over there. We'll have to get that built here pretty soon. The chickens were giving me a hard time when I was working right here on this gate. One of them was standing here telling me she wanted to get through. She was squawking at me, and as soon as I stepped aside and opened the gate for her, she went straight through. So I couldn't believe that chickens telling me to let them go through here. But what I did is I left an opening right here underneath this board, and the water, when it really rains, it drips off the roof, and it comes down from this field and passes right through here on a hard rain. But I feel like the chickens will figure that out. They'll find that, and that'll be their passageway from the big field into the front yard. I let them out into the front yard when I let them out of the chicken coop, and they somehow or another find their way into this back field. But so I put some boards up there just to block it off, and then here's this other gate. Now this will give me access from the front yard to the back field without having to go all the way around with the smaller implements like the walk behind mower and the tiller and things like that. If I need to just get right into this field here to do a little trimming or whatever, I can just run these mowers right back there this way. And the cub cadets can come through here. There is another gate on the other side, but it's quite a ways around to go down to that gate and all the way around the chicken coop. So I like this. It turned out really nice. I think this will work well right here. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching, and remember, it's about the harvest.